One Piece chapter 1171 is out. And I must say, I told you so. I absolutely called what Loki would be doing after chapter 1170 already last year. But let's start from the beginning of the chapter. We have Gaban talking to Shanks and Yarul in the very beginning of the chapter. How if Harold made it out of the castle, that would have been a calamity on the world, basically. Like, Harold was so powerful in fighting Gaban and Shanks. And Gaban confirms, no matter how badly we wounded him, he always regenerated, and it was like we did nothing. That's the same Gaban who in the previous chapter told us how to fight a God's Knight with those same powers. So apparently it worked on some of them. Like, he knew how to wound and defeat God's Knights. Maybe not kill. It's not confirmed that Gaban ever killed a God's Knight. But he knew how to knock them out, basically. How to fight them long enough till they give up or something. Something of the sort. But Harold was different. Harold was on another level. Gaban attacks and together with Shanks did nothing. It is confirmed in this chapter. And Gaban asked if Yarul knew how powerful this treasure of Elbaf was, this devil fruit. And Yarul tells him straight up, no, I had no idea. I heard rumors about it, but I had no concrete idea how strong it actually was. Yeah. And we have Shanks reminiscing about why had to be like this. Why did Harold have to die? He was such a good soul. And we have a backflash of Shanks when he just arrived basically in the Holy Land of his father, talking to him about, like, yeah, man, son, if you want anything, just say the word and I'm gonna make it happen. Or you lived such a bad life down there in this wretched world. Like, these people down there, they're not even people. They don't count as people. Like, that shows how the God's Knights and the Celestial Dragons think of the normal people in the world. Like, all the common folk. They're not even people to them. Okay? And Shanks starts like scratching or ripping at his arm, like he wants to tear out his arm where he has, at this moment still, in the flashback, where he has still the contract of Imu. Like, he wants to get it off, basically, of him. He feels filthy about this, and Gaban stops and it's like, hey Shanks, stop that. Don't do this, no matter what. Don't resent yourself for where you're coming from. Like, don't resent yourself for your birth. For where you're born from, what family you're coming from. That doesn't matter. Like, and he gives him like the speech. It's like, yeah, your life has a purpose. You might not know it right now, but you just gotta hold on, man. Everyone's life has a purpose. It's like, don't beat yourself up over it. Yes, it's tragic that Harold died, but it's not your fault. And Shanks is like, if only I could have been faster. And yes, Shanks, if only you could have been faster, like 2 weeks faster. Maybe you could have saved Harold. But it wasn't meant to be. that's how it is. And yeah, and Gaban, Yarul and Shanks come into the throne room where Loki is, and Loki is there just crying over the corpse of his father, and he like put his coat over him, and that's why today I'm got out the Doflamingo coat. I don't have like a black Viking coat, but I have my Doflamingo pink coat, so that's why we got that out today. Like he put it over his face basically, and he tells them, don't tell anyone anything. And that's the part I predicted. I knew Loki. I knew it wasn't a matter of fact like Yarul lost his memory and Gaban and Shanks lied to everyone. No. I called out and predicted this is all Loki's will. This is all Loki's wish to preserve the memory of Harald, to not have the changes he made in his country be in vain. For him to actually, for the people to like keep going and keep improving the country of Wano in the way Harald wanted and not throw it all away. So he tells them, yeah, I'm gonna leave the country, I'm gonna take all surviving guards. There were surviving guards actually. So far I assumed they all died, but no, some guards survived. But Loki took them with him basically on a ship, on his pirate crew. And yeah, he took them with him, and Yaru is like, if we say nothing, what do you think the people will think? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine with that. They can hate me, but I don't want my father's legacy to be tarnished. I can't do this. I can't become king and continue what he did. I need to do it my way. And his way is basically just taking the hatred and the blame onto himself and bearing it. That's Loki's way. Man, he's such a great character. In such a short time, I love Loki. I must say it. He's such a great character. So yeah, Loki, after this, leaves the country. Takes all the surviving men that know what happened, except the Yarul, Shanks and Gaban, with them, and just takes the blame on the death of his father and the death of all the other guards that died in the castle because Harald killed them. He takes all the blame onto himself. Man, what a dude. And even when met with adversity, like being captured and being chained to a tree and like being voted on to be executed, which comes up later, even then, he's not gonna tell them what really happened. He's not gonna brag about killing his father, which is something he says later in the chapter. But yeah. But in between here, we cut to Imu. In between we cut to Imu in his castle. And he's not happy. Do you think? So, and people wondered, like, okay, why did Imu wait so long to send people to Elbaf? Why did he wait so long to send God's Knights to Elbaf and investigate and go take over Elbaf if Elbaf was what he wanted? We get the reason here. He was talking about how special Harald was. An special ancient giant, like not a normal giant. He was an ancient giant with special powers already, and then got more power from Imu. And yet he died. And Imu doesn't actually really know how Harold died. Doesn't seem like Imo watched through like a third eye, like observing Harold, no. But he knows he's dead. Like he can feel that. And he's like, whoever killed him must be very powerful. So not going near Elbaf is because like, okay, there is someone that killed Harold in Elbaf. Someone so powerful right there is protecting this land. It's like, I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole. And the 5 elder stars is like, shouldn't we like send someone through the abyss portal and like investigate it? And Imus like, no, we shouldn't really do that. No. And he goes and explains that would only cost them another holy night. Like whoever killed Harold would kill any other holy knight. That's how strong Harold was. That's how strong Loki is. Whoever killed Harold would be able to kill any other holy knight. He doesn't want to send anyone, and for a reason. Now here it gets interesting. Really interesting for me in this chapter. Because I'm a fan of Imus powers and the power system that's getting established here. And he mentions every abyssal contract has its price. But not only for the people with the abyssal contract, also for me, also for Mu, is what he says. So not only did Harold pay a price with the abyssal contract, so did Imu. And he's huffing in this panel, in this chapter. After saying this, he's like, he's huffing. Like Imu, by having one of its God's Knights killed, is visibly strained. His stamina gone. Like it hurt him. Like he paid a price for the abyssal contract. And since Harold died now, that price is now coming back to haunt him. It's hurting him. Exerting his stamina. So we don't know what is the price, how big is the price, but we can extrapolate that it drains Imu, that it requires some of his power to be spent for an abyssal contract. So that's why he doesn't want to send anyone else, because if he sends them through, they also die. He gets hurt even more. It's like physical pain to him. Like he knows Harold is dead. Not only because like, yeah, okay, I can't contact Harold anymore, or he's not there anymore. No. The moment Harold died, he got hurt basically. So, yeah. What does that mean for the future? Is it like, do we have to kill like all the God's Knight or get rid of all the God's Knights some way of the contract of somehow to like basically beacon Imu piece by piece? That might be a thing relevant in the future, and I think I'm gonna have a discussion about that really soon and in the coming week, and I'm gonna look more into it, and yeah, that's very interesting. So yeah, Imu's not gonna send anyone and didn't send anyone until now because of that. Okay, we cut back, and it's basically we cut back into the present day. Loki is ending his retelling of what happened. He's like, yeah, okay, this is how it went down. I left the country, came back, and by the time you, my brother, Harudin, came back to the country, I was already Loki the patricide. Like, don't forget, Harudin, during all this, he wasn't in the country, he was gone. So once Harudin came back, everyone told him that Loki killed his father, and it's this big monster that killed all these guards. And eventually when Loki returned to Elbaf, he got chained up to the tree. And yeah, and Gaban is like, yeah, he speaks the truth, man. Like, yeah, I couldn't tell you all these years, and that makes sense. Like earlier in chapters, where Loki was like, oh, we can't like free Loki, we can't let Loki fight on our side. Gaban is like, oh yeah, was like talking to Haradin and was like, yeah, maybe we don't have all the information, but he had all the information, he just couldn't say it because Loki told him not to. Like, he was keeping his word to Loki this entire time. Maybe he should have said something despite that, but no, he's a man, he keeps his word to Loki. It's like, I'm not gonna talk about it if you don't. It's like, okay. No, Loki told him, Haradin and everyone around here. No, Gaban is like, yeah, can confirm I was there. And Gaban goes further and it's like, and yeah, now there's more God's Knights here, and even God's, and he says something like just on the side, but God's Knights that have a connection to Harald are on the island. So it's not random God's Knights that are here apparently, but people with a connection to Harald. Okay. And it's like, he's like, yeah, I can go further into detail if you guys want. But it gets cut off and it's like, nah. Haradin is like, no, I heard enough. I'm convinced we're gonna fight for our country together. And he unshackles Loki. He removes his shackles and is like, I'm sorry, basically, brother. I didn't know all this. It's like also mentioning that Jarl, every time it came up, the execution of Loki, he voted against it. With the Elbaf elders, Jarl is one of them. We don't know who are the other elders. We haven't seen a single one of them so far. But he mentions that Jarl always voted against Loki's execution, and now it makes sense because Jarl knew. Jarl is one of the people that is in the know about this entire thing. Okay. So Haradin and his pirate crew basically are like, yep, we heard enough. Good enough for us. Unshackle Loki. And they get into the lift. But right when they are about to get into the lift, there's like one of the nightmare creatures crashes down from the upper realm into the lower realm. Like a giant skeleton. And they're like, what's that? And Chopper's like, oh, that's one of those monsters that are up there. There's quite a bunch of them stomping around up there. And Loki's like, ha, that's gonna be a nice warm-up. This massive skeleton for him, just a warm-up. Like, he's finally free of his shackles. He was in shackles for a tremendously long time. And he's like, all right, let's get to warming up. And Luffy is just in the background having a blast, laughing. Okay, so Haradin and his men get into the lift. It's like, and Loki's like, yeah, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna jump up. He is gonna jump up from the lower realm of Elbaf to the higher realm of Elbaf. Man, no man. What can't this man do? I mean, and so, okay, Haradin and Zoro get on the lift, and his crew, Haradin's crew, and they get on there and they shout, hey, Loki, we're sorry for calling you a damned patricide, a damned father killer. We're really, really sorry for that. But it doesn't mean we don't hate you for like the other things you did. Basically, for like in their childhood when Loki used to beat them up or something. I don't know what else Loki did to them. Basically that stuff. So like, we don't like you, but we're sorry we called you a fucking patricide. Like, I know that we know the whole story there, man. That really sucked by us. Okay, so they go up there, and we have a small scene to the side with Gaban being like to Chopper, "Hey, Doc, I know you wanna take care of my wounds down here, but I'm really worried about my son up there." And I think he basically Chopper calls over Sanji, and Sanji takes Gaban in his arm and like Chopper on his back or something, holds on to his back, and with Geppo, with the air step technique, he starts flying up to the upper realm with him. Okay, now we have still left down here the big monster, the big skeleton monster, Loki and Luffy. And Luffy has been just partying in the background, laughing, having a good old time, being like, "Hey Loki, you can fight now, isn't that great?" And Loki's to Luffy like, "Why are you still here?" And Luffy's like, "I really can't, because I really can't wait to see you fight, man." Like he knows Loki is strong. He's like, "I can't wait to see you fight." And Loki's like taking his hammer. I don't have a hammer, but I saw a sword here. It's like, "All right, let's show him what's up." And he charges an attack, and no, I can't quite remember. He charges a named attack against this big monster, smashing it into the side and completely freezing it. Like, for one, there's like Conqueror's Haki or Haki in general coming off of it. It looks like he kind of shatters it, but at the same time there's like icicles coming, like suddenly completely surrounding this giant skeleton monster, like it's frozen. And that's where we end the chapter on. And yeah, what a chapter to start the year on. Great chapter. I told you so. Loki took all the blame on him on purpose, because that fits his character. It makes sense for his character. That's for who he is. And yeah, I'm excited to make more videos about that in the coming week. But that was the chapter. Maybe I make an amendment video for stuff I missed or forgot here with off the cuff. That is what happens in another video. So expect me to talk about this chapter again this coming week. But I had to get it out as soon as possible. I read the chapter 3 times, and there might still be things I missed. But yeah, have a good one. Bye.